Hello, I will speak in French and she will translate in English. I'm sorry, my English is not very good. So, je me représente, je suis donc Omar Harfouch, libanais, et je suis là pour vous parler du Liban aujourd'hui.
So I present myself. My name is Omar Harfouch. I'm Lebanese, and I will talk to you about Lebanon today.
Mais d'abord, je voudrais remercier le président de l'Académie culturelle de la diplomatie, M. Franck.
But first of all, I want to thank Mr. Frank, the director of the diplomacy, cultural diplomacy.
Et je voudrais aussi vous dire que c'est incroyable le hasard, mais j'avais rencontré ici à Berlin il y a plusieurs années Daniel Barenboim, qui est un pianiste et compositeur qui travaille ici en Allemagne, mais c'est le seul qui fait de la culture diplomatie, puisqu'il a un orchestre palestinien et israélien, et ça fait que la musique devienne.
I want to tell you about the incredible coincidence that I actually already met here in Berlin Mr. Barenboim, who's a composer and that is very committed to cultural diplomacy, as he's directing an orchestra that where Palestinians and Israeli musicians play. Cultural diplomacy.
Ce qui nous emmène à la paix et à la diplomatie et surtout des relations entre le Liban et Israël.
So this brings us to the topic of peace and diplomacy, especially as well between Lebanon and Israel.
Il est impossible aujourd'hui d'avoir un Libanais qui va vous parler de la paix entre le Liban et Israël.
Nowadays it's impossible to find a Lebanese person that will talk about peace between Israel and Lebanon.
J'ai l'honneur de vous dire que je suis le seul Libanais, évidemment, qui le fait un peu partout dans le monde.
So I have the honor to tell you that I'm the only Lebanese person doing this about many places in the world.
Parce que je considère que la paix, c'est elle seule qui va pouvoir sauver le Liban de la crise actuelle, crise existentielle, économique et culturelle. I can say it in English.
So I consider that peace is the only thing that can save Lebanon from the current crisis, which is an existential crisis, financial crisis, but overall crisis, political crisis.
C'est clair qu'aujourd'hui en Europe, c'est difficile de parler de paix puisque l'Europe, elle est avec toute sa puissance en guerre contre l'armée de Poutine. Donc c'est un peu difficile de parler en Europe de paix. Pour moi, homme de paix, je considère que la paix, elle est universelle. Je suis un homme de paix, donc je suis aussi pour la paix entre l'Europe et tous ses voisins.
It is clear that talking about peace nowadays in Europe is a bit difficult because there is also the war going on with Putin. So it's I'm also advocating peace on universal level, and I know that there is not a lot of people that will agree.
Mais en attendant de devenir un jour Premier ministre du Liban, c'est mon but et sur ça que je travaille, j'ai commencé à mener une campagne contre la corruption au Liban parce que, à mon avis, c'est le deuxième grand problème au Liban.
But I'm also trying. So I have the goal to become one day the Prime Minister of Lebanon. And right now I'm focusing on campaigning against corruption in Lebanon, which is one of the main problems in this country.
Et nous avons, avec des avocats, un groupe d'avocats, réussi à geler jusqu'à à peu près 1 demi-milliard d'euros en Allemagne, en France, au Luxembourg, déjà aujourd'hui.
So with a group of advocates, we managed to freeze half.
We already froze.
Yeah, you already froze $500 million euro that were taken from the Lebanese people.
Et on planifie de geler jusqu'à 10 milliards qui ont été volés les dernières 5 années du peuple libanais et planqués dans des banques européennes.
So we planify to freeze another 10 billion that were taken in the 5 last years from the Lebanese people and that are present in different European banks.
Et le but est de régler définitivement les problèmes économiques, d'avoir la transparence de la politique avec la vie, de ne pas les laisser voler l'argent du peuple.
So the aim is to achieve transparency, to get rid of this problem of corruption in order to have the Lebanese people be able to use the money that is theirs.
Parce que le Liban était la Suisse du Moyen-Orient et elle doit l'être à nouveau.
Because Lebanon used to be Switzerland of the Middle East and should become Switzerland of the Middle East again.
Troisième problème libanais, c'est les réfugiés syriens. Nous avons à peu près 1,5 million de réfugiés syriens, ce qui équivaut à peu près 100 millions de réfugiés syriens ici en Allemagne.
The third big problem we have in Lebanon is the problem of Syrian refugees. We have 1.5 million Syrian refugees in the country, which corresponds to
100 million refugees here. Imagine that there is 100 million Syrian refugees here in Germany. So Lebanon cannot handle that much people because we are only 4 million in Lebanon, so we have 1.5 million. But this is not the strange thing. The strange thing is that we want them to go back. And Syria is ready to receive them. But the European Union obliged us in Lebanon to keep the Syrian refugees in Lebanon. They don't allow us to send them back. They don't allow the Syrian refugees to go back home. They don't allow the Syrian government to take them back. We don't understand why. I will continue in English, it's okay. I'm sorry for my English. We don't understand why, but we suppose that it's because Europe don't want to admit that the Assad win the war and he's a legal government. So they don't want to talk to him, they don't want to accept. But they oblige us to keep the refugees, and they send Lebanon a little money to manage to keep them there. But this money, the little money, is stolen by the Lebanese political. I know that there is also some from audience, they are from Africa, and they have the same problem. They come from very rich countries, but the people are very poor. Lebanon is becoming the same situation. So the problem of refugees, and I hope that Croatia and Germany and all the European countries will accept to let the Syrian refugees left Lebanon and go back to their home country, Syria. There is peace now in Syria. They can go back home. Or I propose that you take the 1.5 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon. Don't send us money because the Lebanese government will steal the money. Take them here to Europe. You can dispatch them all over Europe. They are welcome, I know, especially here in Germany. But in Lebanon, we cannot handle this problem anymore. The fourth question and problem in Lebanon we have is the equality between women and men. Of course, the Lebanese woman, she drives, she has diploma, she managed the house. But in reality, the Lebanese woman, she's not allowed to give the nationality for her foreign husband or for her own children from foreign husband. For example, we have about 300 apartheid in Lebanon, because the husband is Syrian or Egyptian or Palestinian, so the kids, they are born in Lebanon, they live in Lebanon, they don't have any paper, they are not allowed to go to school, they cannot study, they cannot even married, nothing, they don't exist actually on paper. So this is also another problem, and also the divorce, the woman lose everything when there is divorce, even the right on her kids. They can be very small, 3 months, 6 months, she loses the kids. This is in Lebanon the reality. So for me, there is no, it's not equal law for women and husband, and they don't have any right for heritage. Only men and sons, they can get the heritage after the death of the husband or the father. So this is also for a country like Lebanon, which is like almost like Europe, but the women don't have any rights. So of course, after all this, you can imagine that there is no hope for Lebanon. But 10 years ago, I met with a European person. His name is Andrei Plankovic. He was working in Strasbourg in the Commission of Foreign Affairs. Now he's the Prime Minister of Croatia. And he was telling me that there is a lot of similarity between Croatia and Lebanon because we also had war, civil war, and we have a lot of problems. But he said to me that hope is always important. Only hope can help people to believe in the future. Only hope can take a country and people to be better. And he did it because Croatia today is one of the most important European countries. And Mr. Plankiewicz is like very deep and deeply European. And I remember always what he was telling me, and I hope that also I will help Lebanon to go through this crisis and to find a better future for the next generations. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. As Frank is not here, so I will...
Oh, please. Quite open for...
Thank you so much. I am Mobles Nyambara from Zimbabwe. You have raised very important issues, and we applaud you for the sophistication of those embezzled funds by people who are corrupt in your country. Well done. My question is doing this really solving the problem? What is the root cause? Are you addressing the root cause of these corruption activities and goods methods of acquiring those kind of monies? I am so touched, again, that's another point. I'm so touched by your points you raised on women's rights, women and children rights, which are really infringed in Lebanon. As a gender activist, I feel touched, and I wish if there's something I can do or we can do as women in solidarity with these women in Lebanon, and or help those women, because it really needs them to fight for themselves. First, maybe to acquire positions in parliament and positions where they have say and where they can vote for their rights themselves. But well, we need the support of those people like you to eventually for them to acquire their rights and their children to have identity at least, and also allowed to participate like any other people. But anyway, my question is, what are you doing about it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best against it. Just to tell you that fighting against corruption it make me big troubles, because I'm followed by Lebanese justice for fighting, because I fight against corruption. They open cases against me because I'm fighting against the people who own the justice in Lebanon, and especially the corruption is in the justice system. But I'm not afraid. I'm continue, because somebody must do it. And freezing the money of the governor of the Lebanese bank, his billionaire, or the opening case in Monaco against the prime minister of Lebanon, actual prime minister, for laundering money, of course they will not stay without doing anything. So they open case about me. Talking about peace with Israel also, for this there is 2 open cases against me. I'm facing 15 years of jail because I talk to Jewish and to Israeli persons openly. But I continue, and I will. I think that peace needs sacrifice. But about women, you imagine that Lebanese women, they need to help. It's not the reality, because we must change the law in Lebanon. You can do nothing against the law, because the law don't allow them to have the kids. The law don't allow the woman to give her own nationality to her own children. So in my program is to change this law, but it's also because of Lebanese system is sectarian system. We divorce differently. The Muslims, they can, the Sunnite, they can divorce immediately. The Maronite, the Christian Maronites, they are not allowed to divorce at all. They need a paper from the Pope himself to accept the divorce till today. So after 30 years of marriage, with 3 kids, they have to go to the judge, and she said that we never slept together. The kids, they are not mine. Like the man, he's saying like this. The woman accept. Yes, he's not the father, just to say that they never consumed the marriage. Or the Pope will say, okay, you can divorce. So it depends on, it's the sectarian problem. So first we have to change the system to laïque, like in each country of Europe, where the law of the republic is more high than the religious law. So then we can help the woman, because really, as I speak always about women's rights, they wrote me, I talked to them. They are suffering because they lose all the rights. They lose the kids if they want freedom or they want to divorce. So listening to me today, knowing that in Lebanon there is a women problem, is already helping. Is already the idea that we share this problem all together. It's already a big help for Lebanon for change. Thank you.
Maybe I will need her help for translation. We found someone who speaks French, so we will talk in French. OK. Et donc, merci pour la présentation et merci surtout d'avoir fait la similitude entre la situation au Liban et la situation africaine en général.
Thank you so much for presenting, and thank you also for telling about the similarities between Lebanon and African countries.
Spécialement, un des problèmes cruciaux de la situation que vit le Mali depuis, je ne dirais pas depuis l'indépendance, mais depuis en tout cas un certain temps, c'est bien sûr la corruption.
Especially as one of the most crucial problems that Mali faces is also the corruption problem.
Et nous savons que c'est là où la bonne gouvernance fait défaut depuis un certain temps.
And we know that it is good governance that is lacking since a certain time.
Nous, Maliens, nous supposons que cela peut-être est lié, la pauvreté notre situation de pauvreté depuis longtemps est due à cette corruption par les leaders politiques depuis longtemps.
So we, as Malian people, we believe that the poverty that we face is due to this corruption situation in the country where politicians are making profit out of the people.
Et donc, depuis 2012, je pense que la crise multidimensionnelle s'est accrue au Mali.
So since 2012, a multidimensional crisis has been present in Mali.
La crise sécuritaire accrue, parce que depuis 2012 que les terroristes ont fait éruption au Mali et jusqu'à présent, je pense qu'ils sont là à faire des attaques.
So first of all there's a securitarian crisis, there's terrorism in Mali, and up to date we have terrorist attacks.
Et donc la situation à laquelle nous assistons aujourd'hui nous fait peur. Je m'explique, et c'est là que je poserai ma question.
So the situation that we are facing today actually makes us fear, and I will explain it more, and also you can ask it.
C'est que le Mali, depuis son indépendance en 1960, a été un pays laïque.
It is that Mali has actually been, since its independence in 1960, a secular country.
Et le problème de la religion ne s'est jamais réellement posé, mais aujourd'hui, avec les nouvelles autorités qui sont là et qui ont voulu en tout cas faire un nouveau projet de constitution, ont maintenu cette notion de laïcité.
This question of secularism has never been really asked, but today there is new authorities that still want to include this secularist idea in the new constitution.
Et donc il y a une grande mouvance qui luttent aujourd'hui pour que le Mali ne soit plus laïque. Ils n'ont pas précisé ce qu'ils cherchent réellement pour le Mali. Ils n'ont pas annoncé, en tout cas officiellement, qu'ils veulent un pays islamique, mais c'est la nouvelle tendance qui est en train de combattre les nouvelles autorités aujourd'hui.
So there is a great movement of people that are actually fighting against the secular state, and even though they're not really pronouncing what they are wishing for, it is clear that the trend is to have an Islamic state.
Donc pour résumer, je vais dire que la religion musulmane est en train de prendre la place politique au Mali aujourd'hui.
So to conclude, I would say that the Muslim region is somehow taking the political sphere in Mali.
Et donc, comme le Liban aussi, vous en avez parlé un moment, est-ce que vous pensez que cette situation politique avec la religion aujourd'hui peut entraîner le Mali dans un chaos total? C'était la question.
So the question I would like to ask you, similarly to Lebanon, do you believe that the political situation in the region can lead Mali to even greater chaos?
Okay, we are not only two French francophone. Mr. Diplomat, Croatian embassy speaks French also. Oui, no, he speaks very, very good French. Corruption is the worst thing that any country can have, and Europe became country per country good countries only when they started fighting really against corruption. Corruption exists even in Europe, but it depends. In the north, like Sweden and Finland and Denmark, the corruption is less than in the south, like Italy and Malta and Cyprus. I know in Lebanon it's very, very high. In Syria also, and in Egypt it's very high also, the corruption. In Africa it's the highest level. In Lebanon maybe now we're going to have the record. But when you have corruption plus Islamism, it's like the biggest problem that you can have. Why? Because in corruption there is no law. You can buy any judge if there is corruption. And the Islamism, I'm not talking about Islam, I'm Muslim. I'm talking about Islamism. It's the fundamentalism. It's the using of the religion for political reason. With corruption, they can do whatever they want because the law of Islam will be highest than the law of the country. So if Mali, and I know and everybody knows the problem in Mali, is also Islamism. So if Mali will go in this direction, it will be very hard to build a laïc country, as you're saying, because laïc, it's not only to do law between religions, it's also to separate the religion from the government and from the justice. This is how France became a French Republic that we know today, because they separate church from justice. So we in Lebanon and you in Mali, we have a long road together because fighting against fundamentalism and against corruption at the same time is very, very hard, especially when you have dictatorship or when you have people very corrupted. In Lebanon, we have Christians, a lot of Christians, and the problem is to do the same law for Christians and Muslims. But if Islamism will be very strong in Mali, it will be very hard to build a laïc country. As on my opinion.
Any additional questions or comments?
Thank you so much.
Okay, then let's express our gratitude once again.